In the dusty plains of the American Southwest during the late 1800s, three brothers named Elias, Samuel, and Josiah Harlan scratched out a meager existence on their rundown ranch. Born to impoverished settlers who had crossed the frontier in search of opportunity, the brothers had inherited nothing but calloused hands, a patch of arid land, and an unyielding spirit of survival. Elias, the eldest at 28, was the steadfast leader, his weather-beaten face etched with lines from years of toiling under the relentless sun. Samuel, 25, was the inventive one, always tinkering with broken machinery or devising ways to coax more water from the parched earth using makeshift irrigation systems. Josiah, the youngest at 22, brought a spark of optimism to their grim routine, his laughter a rare but welcome sound amid the howling winds and creaking fences. Their days blurred into nights of mending barbed wire, herding skeletal cattle, and sharing thin stews around a flickering campfire. Poverty clung to them like the red dust that coated their boots, debts mounted from failed crops and predatory loans from town merchants who saw the Harlans as easy marks. Yet, brotherhood bound them tighter than any chain, their loyalty forged in shared hardships and whispered dreams of striking it rich someday. One fateful autumn evening, as the sun dipped below the jagged horizon painting the sky in hues of crimson and gold, the brothers rode out to check on a straying calf. The air was thick with the scent of sagebrush and impending storm, thunder rumbling distantly like the growl of an awakening beast. What they stumbled upon instead was a scene of tragedy that would alter their lives forever. A small Apache girl, no more than 8 years old, huddled beside the lifeless body of her mother, arrows protruding from the woman's back in a grim testament to a raid gone wrong. Bandits, perhaps rival tribesmen or opportunistic white outlaws, had struck swiftly, leaving the child alone in the wilderness. Her dark eyes, wide with terror and grief, locked onto the approaching riders, and in that moment, the Harlans' world shifted. Elias dismounted first, his heart pounding as he approached cautiously, speaking soft words and broken phrases he'd picked up from traders. The girl flinched but didn't run, exhaustion and fear had rooted her to the spot. Samuel scanned the surroundings for threats, his hand hovering near his revolver, while Josiah knelt to offer water from his canteen. Against all odds and the prejudices of the era, the brothers decided to help. They buried the mother with a simple dignity under a lone mesquite tree, marking the grave with stones, and wrapped the girl in a spare blanket. Naming her Little Sparrow for her delicate frame and the way she seemed to flutter with unspoken fears, they brought her back to the ranch. Whispers in town branded them fools or worse, warning of Apache curses or government reprisals, but the Harlans pressed on. Little Sparrow, wary at first, slowly warmed to their kindness. She taught them bits of her language, shared stories of her people under starlit skies, and in turn, learned to mend fences and ride horses. The brothers sacrificed what little they had, extra portions of food, patched clothing, to ensure her safety, turning their shack into a home for 4. Years passed in this fragile harmony, with Little Sparrow growing into a strong young woman, her presence a beacon of hope amid their struggles. But whispers of her past haunted her dreams, and at 18, she chose to seek her tribe, leaving the brothers with tearful goodbyes and promises to return. The ranch felt emptier without her, but their bond endured through letters and occasional visits. Then, 21 years after that fateful rescue, on a crisp morning mirroring the one of their first encounter, a lone rider appeared on the horizon, a woman of poised elegance, her features strikingly familiar yet transformed by time and prosperity. The rider was Little Sparrow, now known as Ayana, a name reclaimed from her Apache heritage meaning eternal blossom. At 29, she had blossomed indeed, her once frail form now carrying the grace of a leader, clad in finely woven fabrics blending traditional patterns with modern influences. Her horse, a magnificent stallion, bore the marks of long journeys, and behind her trailed a small entourage of riders whose presence stirred dust devils across the plain. Elias, Samuel, and Josiah, now in their late 40s and 50s, froze mid-task in the corral, their aged hands pausing on ropes and tools as recognition dawned. Time had grayed their hair and deepened their wrinkles, but the spark in their eyes remained unchanged. Ayana dismounted with fluid motion, her dark braids swaying, and approached them with arms outstretched. The reunion was a torrent of emotions, hugs that crushed the breath from lungs, tears streaming down weathered cheeks, and words tumbling forth in a mix of English and Apache. Over a hasty meal of fresh bread and stew, luxuries the brothers hadn't known in years, Ayana recounted her odyssey. After leaving the ranch, she had trekked through hostile territories, evading dangers that would have felled lesser souls. Guided by visions and the stars her mother had taught her to read, she found her tribe, fragmented by wars and relocations. There, she rose through sheer will, becoming a mediator between her people and the encroaching white world, negotiating treaties and advocating for lands. Her intellect and compassion earned her respect, leading to alliances with influential figures, including government officials and philanthropists. Yet, beneath her successes lurked the shocking truth she had come to reveal. During her time with the tribe, ancient lore and family records unearthed a revelation tying her directly to the Harlans in ways none could have imagined. It turned out that the raid which orphaned her was no random act but part of a deeper conspiracy involving hidden bloodlines and lost inheritances. Ayana's mother had been more than a simple nomad. She was the daughter of a prominent Apache chief who had secret ties to early settlers, including the Harlan lineage through a forbidden union decades prior. Documents, passed down orally and now substantiated by faded papers she produced from a satchel, showed that Elias's own grandfather had been involved in a pact that intertwined their families. The shocking truth? Ayana was not just saved by the brothers, she was their half-sister, the product of that illicit connection, hidden to protect her from persecution. This bombshell left the brothers reeling, their minds racing through memories, piecing together subtle hints like shared features or unspoken family stories. Samuel's tinkering mind whirred with questions about genetics and history, while Josiah's optimism bloomed into joy at this expanded family. Elias, ever the protector, vowed to stand by her no matter the implications. But the revelation carried weighty consequences. With her status confirmed, Ayana had inherited vast tribal lands rich in minerals, including gold veins long rumored but unmined due to disputes. The brothers' ranch sat unwittingly on the edge of this territory, a fact that could upend their poverty overnight. Ayana's return wasn't merely sentimental, it was a call to action, urging them to claim their share and unite their legacies against those who would exploit the land. As the sun set, casting long shadows over the ranch, the group gathered around the fire, Ayana's entourage sharing songs and tales, forging a new chapter in their intertwined destinies. The days following Ayana's arrival transformed the Harlan Ranch from a symbol of endurance into a hub of activity and intrigue. Word spread like wildfire through the nearby town, drawing curious onlookers, skeptical ranchers, and even shady speculators sniffing opportunity. The brothers, still processing the blood tie, found themselves thrust into a whirlwind of legalities and negotiations. Ayana, with her network of allies, brought lawyers and surveyors who pored over maps under lantern light, confirming the mineral deposits beneath the soil. Elias took charge, his leadership honed by years of ranching now applied to safeguarding their newfound fortune. Samuel dove into the technicalities, sketching plans for sustainable mining that honored Apache traditions, blending his ingenuity with Ayana's cultural wisdom. Josiah, the heart of the family, mediated tensions, ensuring harmony among the growing camp of workers from both worlds. The shocking truth extended beyond kinship. Ayana revealed that her mother's killers were linked to a corrupt land baron who had long eyed their property, using raids to displace natives and claim resources. This villain, now aged but still influential, had manipulated events to keep the Harlans poor, unaware of their rights. Armed with evidence, letters, witness testimonies from tribal elders, Ayana plotted a righteous reckoning, not through violence but justice. The brothers, fueled by betrayal's sting, rallied support, their story inspiring locals who had suffered similar injustices. As winter approached, blizzards blanketing the plains, the ranch buzzed with preparations, reinforcing structures, training hands, and educating themselves on wealth's responsibilities. Ayana shared visions of a cooperative venture where profits funded schools for Apache children and irrigation for struggling farmers, embodying the unity her rescue had foreshadowed. Yet, shadows loomed, the land baron's men lurked, attempting sabotage like poisoned wells or stolen deeds. In one tense night, riders approached under cover of darkness, but the brothers, vigilant with Ayana's warriors, repelled them without bloodshed, their rifles gleaming in moonlight. This defense solidified their resolve, turning potential enemies into allies as news of their stand spread. Through it all, family bonds deepened, evenings filled with storytelling, where Little Sparrow's childhood antics mingled with adult revelations, laughter echoing against the wind. The shocking truth had not just enriched them materially but spiritually, reminding them that salvation comes in circles, giving and receiving across time. As spring thawed the earth, exposing glittering quartz veins, the Harlans stood taller, their poor ranch evolving into a beacon of hope, proving that acts of kindness ripple eternally. With the land's riches confirmed, the Harlan brothers and Ayana faced the daunting task of development amid mounting opposition. The corrupt baron, sensing his empire threatened, unleashed a barrage of legal challenges, filing false claims and bribing officials to halt operations. Elias, drawing on his unyielding resolve, traveled to the state capital, testifying before lawmakers with Ayanna by his side, her eloquence swaying doubters. Samuel innovated relentlessly, designing eco-friendly extraction methods using local materials, minimizing environmental harm and earning endorsements from conservationists. Josiah organized community outreach, hosting barbecues and forums where skeptics heard first-hand accounts, fostering alliances that bolstered their cause. The shocking truth of their connection became a powerful narrative, published in newspapers that romanticized their tale, turning public opinion in their favor. Ayanna's tribal council, initially wary of white involvement, was convinced by her passion, granting permissions that unlocked federal grants. Workers arrived: Apache craftsmen, Irish laborers, Chinese engineers, each bringing skills that wove a tapestry of cultures on the ranch. Daily life pulsed with energy, dynamite blasts echoing like thunder, or carts rumbling, and laughter from shared meals. Yet, personal growth intertwined with progress, the brothers confronted their past prejudices, learning Apache rituals that honored the land's spirits, deepening their respect. Ayanna mentored them in leadership, her return a catalyst for self-discovery. Challenges persisted: a cave-in trapped miners, testing Samuel's quick thinking to rescue them unharmed, or floods washing away equipment, demanding Josiah's optimism to rebuild. Through adversity, family rituals emerged: weekly gatherings where they reflected on the rescue 21 years prior, toasting Little Sparrow's survival. The Baron's downfall came dramatically. Ayanna's evidence exposed his crimes in court, leading to his arrest amid cheers from the gallery. Seized assets funneled back into community projects, vindicating the Harlan's perseverance. As the mine yielded its first gold shipment, wealth flowed modestly, prioritized for education and health initiatives rather than extravagance. The ranch, once barren, now bloomed with orchards and schools, symbolizing renewal. The brothers, no longer poor, remained grounded, their savings invested in futures for others. Ayanna's shocking truth had dismantled barriers, proving blood and kindness transcend divides, forging a legacy of equity in the harsh frontier. Years into the venture's success, the Harlan legacy expanded beyond the ranch, influencing regional dynamics. Elias, now a respected elder, advised on policies blending native and settler interests, his voice carrying weight in assemblies. Samuel's inventions patented, he established workshops training youth in mechanics, passing his inventive torch. Josiah, ever the connector, founded a cultural exchange program, where Apache dances mingled with cowboy songs at festivals, drawing crowds from afar. Ayanna, balancing tribal duties with family, became a national figure, her story inspiring books and speeches on reconciliation. The shocking truth evolved into a foundation myth, taught in schools to illustrate unity's power. Yet, new threats emerged: corporate giants eyeing expansion, proposing buyouts that undervalued their ethical operations. The family united against this, leveraging media savvy to highlight sustainable practices, garnering support from environmental groups. Internal dynamics shifted too: marriages brought in-laws, grandchildren frolicked on the grounds once barren, infusing joy. Elias found love late in life with a schoolteacher drawn to their cause, while Samuel's quiet romance with an engineer's daughter yielded innovative heirs. Josiah's brood, boisterous and kind, echoed his spirit. Ayanna, unwed but fulfilled, adopted orphans, extending the rescue ethos. Challenges like market fluctuations tested resilience, but diversification into agriculture and tourism stabilized them. A pivotal moment came when a drought struck, mirroring early hardships. Communal efforts, drawing on Ayanna's rain dances and Samuel's water tech, prevailed. The ranch hosted dignitaries, from presidents to chiefs, witnessing their model of coexistence. Reflections on the original save deepened gratitude. Annual commemorations at the mother's grave reinforced roots. The shocking revelations' ripples touched distant lives, funding scholarships for Apache youth and aiding impoverished ranchers. Wealth managed wisely, philanthropy became core, with trusts ensuring longevity. As elders, the brothers marveled at the transformation, their poverty a distant memory, replaced by purpose. Ayanna's return had not just shocked but illuminated paths, proving salvation's echoes endure. Entering a new era, the Harlans navigated modernity's complexities while honoring origins. Elias retired to advisory roles, his wisdom chronicled in memoirs co-authored with Ayanna, detailing the shocking truth's unfoldment. Samuel's labs innovated renewable energy, harnessing solar from the sun-scorched lands, pioneering green mining. Josiah's festivals grew into international events, promoting cultural fusion and tourism that sustained the economy. Ayanna led advocacy, lobbying for land rights reforms, her testimony instrumental in landmark legislation. Family expanded, with second-generation leaders emerging, trained in balanced stewardship. Yet, ghosts of the past resurfaced, descendants of the Baron sought restitution, but justice prevailed through mediated settlements funding reparations. Environmental stewardship intensified, with reforestation and wildlife corridors preserving the ecosystem. Personal milestones marked time, weddings under starry skies, births celebrated with tribal ceremonies, losses mourned collectively. The ranch, modernized with solar panels and tech, retained rustic charm, a living museum of their journey. Educational centers taught history, emphasizing the brothers' rescue as pivotal. Ayanna's visions guided expansions, like eco-resorts blending luxury with learning. Challenges included generational clashes, resolved through open dialogues echoing early family bonds. Global recognition came via documentaries, humanizing the narrative. The Shocking Truth inspired art paintings, songs, films immortalizing their saga. Philanthropy scaled, aiding global indigenous causes. As the brothers aged gracefully, reflections on 21 years post-return highlighted growth, from saviors to partners in destiny. Ayanna's enduring presence anchored them, her return a perpetual gift. Legacy secured, they ensured sustainability, passing torches lit by kindness. In the twilight of their years, Elias, Samuel, and Josiah reflected on the improbable arc from poverty to prosperity sparked by saving Little Sparrow. Elias, frail but sharp, recounted leadership lessons to grandchildren, stressing compassion's currency. Samuel tinkered till the end, his final invention a water purifier for arid regions, embodying ingenuity's legacy. Josiah's optimism infected all, his festivals a yearly pilgrimage site. Ayanna, timeless in spirit, mentored successors, her Shocking Truth a cornerstone of identity. The ranch thrived as a self-sustaining haven, profits reinvested in innovation and equity. Family gatherings swelled, stories retold with embellishments, keeping the rescue vivid. Challenges like climate shifts met with adaptive strategies, proving resilience. Community ties unbreakable, the Harlan's model replicated elsewhere, influencing policy. Honors accumulated, medals, statues, but humility prevailed. Ayanna's revelations fostered ongoing revelations, like distant relatives emerging. End-of-life preparations emphasized unity, while ensuring shared stewardship. Their tale, etched in history, inspired multitudes, a testament to kindness's power. As final sunsets painted the plains, peace enveloped them, knowing salvation circled back manifold. The Harlan saga, born from three poor brothers' mercy, culminated in enduring impact long after their passing. Ayanna outlived them, guiding the enterprise into futuristic ventures like AI-monitored conservation. Grandchildren led, upholding values of kinship and justice. The ranch, a national historic site, educated on reconciliation. The Shocking Truth's legacy, unity over division, prosperity through ethics. Annual remembrances honored the Apache girl saved, her return etching eternity in their story. Foundations perpetuated aid, touching lives globally. From dusty plains to beacons of hope, their journey affirmed that one act ripples forever, transforming fates in unexpected, profound ways.